Back in Dorset, the bachelor chimps are outside in the tunnels waiting to be let into their large outdoor enclosure. But before they are, one of them has to be given his daily medication.
Butch!
Elderly Butch needs treatment for a heart condition. It was discovered when a visit from the vet revealed he's suffering from a pericardial effusion, fluid around the heart.
Hey, handsome. Good boy. Well done, mate. And this as well. Yeah?
After a few weeks of treatment, there's been a marked improvement in Butch's quality of life.
We did get to a point with him where he was just laid out, wasn't really interacting with anyone, didn't really want to know us, didn't want to have any food. But since we started him on the meds, you know, we've come in and he's been playing with the others, he's been sat grooming with the other big boys, he's smiling at us again, which he hadn't done for ages. So yeah, he does seem to be in a much better frame of mind since then. So yeah, fingers crossed, old man.
When the park first opened its doors, it became home to a large number of chimpanzees, mostly rescued from Europe. Almost half of the chimps at the park are now more than 30 years old.
We sadly have an ageing population of chimps here at the park. We've got our guys who've been here a long, long time, so there are certain individuals that you are always going to stress about, particularly like Beth, Buster, Mickey, Cindy, those really old individuals. Butch has definitely fallen into that category. Even before all these issues that have been flagged with his heart, we have noticed him, like, you know, he seemed a bit more in pain than I'd say to some of the others. Like generally Beth, Buster, Mickey and Cindy, their mobility's fine, but with Butch, we noticed him a few years ago dipping on his hips. There's a few fingers that don't quite bend the same way they used to, and yeah, you could just see he seemed not entirely comfortable. So we have had him on pain relief for quite a while, just to help him through that. He has, yeah, he's strange that he's a big, tough-looking boy, but actually, yeah, physically he's getting quite frail as well. So he's, yeah, it's been a worry for a long, long time, and now this on top of it is just, you know, making my hair fall out.
Butch is thought to be about 42 years of age. He arrived 2 years after the park opened in 1989. He was rescued from life as a beach photographer's prop, having been stolen from his family in the wild and suffered anxiety as a result. Despite his traumatic start, he flourished at Monkey World and became a strong but fair leader of the Bachelor Boys. In recent years, he's taken a back seat, but still gets the respect he deserves from the others. The role of leader has now been taken on by Paco, who has a totally different way of going about things.
So Paco in himself, as an individual, isn't a nasty boy. He's actually quite a nice, well-natured chimp, but unfortunately he's not terribly bright. He doesn't really know fully how to be the dominant male. He's not good at appeasing others. He's not good at, you know, grooming and working at his relationships. He's very good at displays and smacking people, and that's pretty much where his leadership ability ends. Basically everything a dominant male should do, he does the exact opposite.
But despite their differences, the ageing chimp population at the park have strong alliances and bonds. And the mix of individuals and characters keeps life interesting for them all. It's going to be a busy 24 hours for the small monkey team. They're making plans to pair up 13-year-old marmoset Jenny, who recently lost her long-term mate, Albert. She's in desperate need of companionship, and it looks like a solution has been found. Alison has a long waiting list of marmoset owners needing to rehome their pets. And among them is a male called Clyde. He's of similar age to Jenny, and Alison's arranged to collect him tomorrow.
He's another old person. He's also supposed to be about 13 years old. He's a scruffy-looking pet trade boy. We've seen video clips of him. He looks quite sort of ricketed, which is standard for the UK pets. And yeah, he's hopefully going to be a good partner for Jenny because they're of a similar age and they can live out the rest of their twilight years together.
The team hope the pair will get on, but before any introduction can take place, Jenny needs a visit from the vet.
She's got a bony growth that she's had before in her mouth. Not long after she first arrived from the pet trade, we had her down and we actually had to cut it out because it was causing a lot of discomfort in the mouth. But over the years, it's actually regrown again. So we're going to have her down. We're going to hopefully remove that big bony lump from her to upper jaw. But she's also got a selection of interesting looking teeth that we've noticed when we feed her and things. So she may find that she also has a couple of teeth to come out as well.
Local vet David Holler has arrived to perform the procedures. Jenny has already been given anaesthetic gas in a specially designed box for smaller primates. David gives the marmoset a general once-over and then examines her mouth.
Just still assessing what's going on, where and why. Next few days there will be some painkillers and some antibiotics to make sure we don't get any infection in there. But it's amazing how quickly mouths heal up. They heal generally very, very quick. And she should be more comfortable almost immediately because she hasn't got sore teeth moving around in her jaw every time she tries to eat. So hopefully we're on for better, more comfortable life moving forward.
Jenny is returned to the box to recover. All being well, in the coming days, she'll have some company and a new life companion. It's been more than a month since Alison collected 4 male lemurs from a private collection in Kettering and brought them back to Dorset. In that time, the team have been trying to introduce them to some of Monkey World's resident lemurs. However, Ben, the oldest newcomer and father to the rest, is at a disadvantage. He only has one leg, and it's become obvious that the large open space of Malagasy could prove too much for him to handle. So today, the primate care staff have boxed him up in a travel crate to move him to a new house and meet a potential new partner.
His mobility for a one-legged animal is very good, but actually we feel it's going to be a bit too much of a risk considering having him at Malagasy, our big walk-through woodland enclosure. He gets about okay, but if he gets up to the top of one of our, 20, 30-foot trees and gets chased, he's not agile enough to get down safely in a hurry. So we think he might be a bit too much of a risk to live in the big woodland. So we're hoping to introduce him to our female Fennel. She's a lovely older lady. She has some mobility issues herself. She's got a bit of arthritis. And we think that would be a really good friend for him to make, and we can potentially look at then having a sort of younger, more able group in our walkthrough area, maybe having a little bit of a retirement pad elsewhere, so with Ben and Fennel, and then the option to add in a couple of our other older boys should they not fit into the intro group. So hopefully, because he's going up with just Fennel, the two of them will hopefully be eager to have a friend and the intro will go smoothly, we hope.
To help the introduction along, Ben and Fennel are going to meet in neutral territory at the Gwennon house. It has plenty of space indoors, as well as a large outside enclosure, which has trees more manageable for Ben. The staff will collect Fennel from Malagasy once they've released Ben into a bedroom.
Ready? Good boy, good job.
He's straight out, although a little bewildered.
Just moved him up from the only home he's known so far at the park to a completely different house with completely different smells. So he's very nervous. We had a bit of panic poo and he's looking a bit sort of jittery, but that's to be expected. So I'm hoping that Fennel will feel the same way when we move her up here, and then actually seeing each other will be a bit of a comfort, and hopefully that will mean that they're very keen to meet each other and be friendly.
Ben starts to explore his new surroundings with some encouragement from the team.
Putting a bit of banana in to welcome him up to this house has probably helped. And the windows in the Gwennon house are lower down, so he's getting the full sunshine through them, so he'll enjoy that too. But he'll also catch a glimpse of the Gwennons outside, which might freak him out a little bit, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But we'll have to go and get Fennel now, and hopefully the sooner that we can put some familiar-looking company next door, hopefully that will help him calm.
The Gwennon family of 3 are all outside in the enclosure. This isn't the first time they've had a different species of primate as housemates.
They lived with a lemur and his guard dog, aka Meetza the Patas monkey. So George and Meetza lived with the Gwennons for a while, and Meetza protected George when the Gwennons got a little bit too close and was sort of his bodyguard. But they're used to seeing lemurs So hopefully they won't be too reactive to these two. But these guys have never seen Gwennons before, so they might get a bit of panic from Ben and Fennel initially when they see these weird-looking new neighbours.
Leaving Ben to settle in, the team head to Malagasy to collect Fennel. She's inside the overnight cage area with the rest of the troop, waiting to go out. The staff perform a one-at-a-time controlled release as part of the daily routine. This avoids any stress and gives the lemurs' carers the opportunity to check them individually.
You disappear also. Thank you.
Eventually, only Fennel is left.
Good girl, Fan.
Right.
An enticement of mashed banana in the travel box is used to encourage her in. Her housemates watch on, unsure what's happening. The treat works, and Fennel is soon secure in the box.
I thought she would probably be a bit more suspicious about walking into a box. She's been around the block a bit more. She's seen crates and vet days and things like that. So all in all, not too traumatic. No catching or anything required, so that's always nice.
Good girl.
Steph and the team whisk Fennel across to the Gwennon house, where she's released into a bedroom next to Ben.
Good job, missus.
The pair seem interested in each other, so the team, keen to move the introductions on, open up the slide between them.
And then, Ben, who's that?
They pass like ships in the night. Fennel's more interested in exploring than meeting her new housemate. Eventually, the pair meet up. They seem relaxed, with no signs of aggression, and Steph is delighted.
I mean, this has been immediately a massive improvement on the intros we've been doing between the males down at the bottom. Everybody's doing a lot of posturing and scent throwing and being a bit ridiculous down there, whereas these two have just sort of poodled past each other without too much of an issue. You know, she's a female, females are dominant. He's shown submissive to her. He's done little submissive cackles, which is what he kind of should do. She should be the boss of the two. He's being very respectful, and she's just sort of taking it in her stride, really.
So far, so good. But the pair still have to come face to face with three noisy, often hyperactive Gwennons. Time will tell what they make of that. It's been 36 years since Monkey World's founder Jim Cronin set up the Dorset Sanctuary, aimed at rescuing chimpanzees illegally smuggled from the wild. 9 frightened youngsters were the first to arrive, all rescued from Spain, where they'd been used as beach photographers' props.
They're okay, but they're not in what I'd call good shape. But in comparison to what they were when they arrived, it's 100% better, mentally and physically. Well, in your case, perhaps not.
4 of the originals remain: Mickey, Buster, Cindy and Beth, who live in Bart's group and are well over 40 years old. There was a 5th, but age has now caught up with lovable, kind-hearted Sammy, one of the park's original bachelor boys, who's passed away.
We know that Sammy was at least like 43 years old, maybe older. And you could see that he had slowed down. Having said that, he was always sort of a happy individual and always prepared for a little sort of game of chase back and forth, always loving his food. You know, his diet was sort of a lifelong ambition to keep him maybe a bit portly because he was so food focused, but at least not being too fat. And, you know, one of the nicest individuals you'd ever know, though. I mean, he was just sweet as could be.
Sammy and his contemporaries were victims of a cruel trade in chimps. Many had been ripped from the arms of their slaughtered mothers by hunters, then sold on and used as tourist attractions. The chimps suffered horrendous abuse, both physically and mentally.
It just has such far-reaching, catastrophic effects on so many chimpanzees in the wild. And seemingly Jim was one of the only people that sort of embraced that concept and that crystal ball, if you will, that if this trade continued, it was a real problem for chimpanzee populations. And yet at the time, nobody in the zoological world really cared. So that's why Monkey World was founded. You know, we've encountered so much trauma, abuse, neglect on a scale that's unheard of in these guys, and we try and turn it around and make it right. And sometimes we're successful and sometimes we're not.
In the 36 years since it opened, the park has rescued 79 chimpanzees, and Jim's vision has become a global operation. But affection for the original 9 chimps is ingrained deeply in every aspect of park life. From the outset, Sammy was a big, dopey-looking, kindly chimp loved by his companions, as well as staff and visitors alike. He loved his food and was so proficient at gathering it up, the care team had to keep an eye on his weight. He didn't worry about group politics, often sticking up for smaller chimps or just wanting to play. And when it came to throwing, he had the best aim in the park. 10 years after arriving, Sammy became one of the original members of the Bachelor Boys, set up because the mixed-sex chimp groups had become top-heavy with males. He was integral to its success and remained there for the rest of his life.
He's been with the boys from the beginning, and you know, his loss will be a significant one. You can say, oh, well, he isn't the alpha in charge of the group, so it won't make too much of a difference or whatever, but I would suggest to you it's even perhaps more profound because he was that senior statesman, the center and the rock, the base of the group. Everybody loves Sam. The chimps love Sam, and he was a fair and nice person.
But he did have some medical issues, including a large throat sac which needed constant monitoring. Following his death, a post-mortem revealed he had an aortic aneurysm, a bulge in the wall of the main artery. But the pathologist's final note was the most upsetting.
Sammy was covered in scars and lesions from head to toe, from cigarette burns. And that was, again, just a very poignant reminder of what all of our guys go through, and it's still potentially happening out there today. Sammy was just one of them who survived the abuse, and perhaps that'll just give me more fire in my belly to try and help those like Sammy.
Sammy's loss is a major blow for the primate care team.
Nothing's ever really gonna fill that void with not having Sammy here. He was just just a good person. Like, he didn't have a nasty side to him. He was 1 in a million, and yeah, it's just never going to be the same here.
Losing a big, lovable character like Sammy was devastating for the team. But because of the age of the original chimps, it's something they were prepared for. The next blow, however, was entirely unexpected.
Completely out of the blue, took us all by shock. Devastating, breathtaking. We lost a chimp that we had only rescued 4 years previous and was a young individual, estimated maybe 14 years old, and that was Toprish. It just completely stunned everybody.
Toprish was a member of Bart's group. During a particularly chilly period, a number of the troop caught a cold, and Toprish's was particularly nasty. The whole group were under close observation from the primate care staff, but one morning, in a matter of just a few hours, Toprish's condition deteriorated, and she passed away in one of the bedrooms.
She was gone. Just that quick. It was tragic, sad, unexpected, really hard for the primate care staff because she was gone. She was gone that fast. I think she was gone probably before she even touched the floor.
Alison's immediate concern was that Toprish had COVID, and the rest of the troop may be infected. When all the tests came back negative, it was a great relief for the team. A post-mortem later showed there was nothing they could have done.
It was just one of those things. She had a thromboembolism. That means it's like a blood clot that blocked the blood supply actually to both of her lungs.
Toprish arrived at the park in 2018. She'd been illegally stolen from the wild as a youngster and sold as a pet, before ending up at a zoo in Turkey. Before moving to Monkey World, she'd never lived with other adult chimps. At 9 years old, her integration to Bart's group took time. But she got there in the end, and quickly made her mark, rising up through the ranks to become one of Bart's favourite ladies.
She'd really found her place in the group, and actually, considering she was the newest member, she was quite up there. Like a lot of the high-ranking ladies traditionally in that group, like Cindy and Beth, really didn't want to mess with Toprish. Huge blow for us, huge blow for the rest of the chimps. I mean, some of them obviously grieved more than others, and there were some like Buster and Mickey who definitely were happier because she really gave them pair a bit of a hard time. Absolute monster, but yeah, she was a big character.
But the ageing chimp groups are a fact of life at the park, and the work goes on. 2 big personalities have passed on, but 2 more chimps needing help have arrived. The chimp team have managed to integrate the 2 new arrivals from Argentina. Kangoo is now a member of Brian's group, while his mum Sasha has moved to Bart's, filling the space left by Toprish. Life at the park is constantly evolving, but it doesn't stop the teams or Alison becoming emotionally attached.
When you lose a friend of more than 30 years, it's harder to deal with, and Sammy was one of those. He was a good friend,